Hey everybody, this is Anna from Capital Nature, a local nonprofit in DC that promotes nature engagement. And today we're going to talk about tips for taking photos for iNaturalist. Let's get started.
When you're taking pictures of things, it's important to get them in focus. So you want to get nice and close if you can and try to get a focused picture. Taking pictures of multiple species like this might confuse people on iNaturalist as to what you're trying to identify. So you want to isolate your subject, get a little bit closer, and just get one species, one type of leaf, one type of plant. Sometimes it's helpful to put your hand behind things to maybe separate it so you can see the details of the leaves. And so by isolating the actual leaf, it's going to help you so it's not focusing on everything behind you. And that's going to help people with identification. Also, getting pictures underneath leaves is very helpful. That's going to help. How are things connected to the plant? Are they exactly opposite from each other, or are they alternate? With ferns, you'll want to look at the underside so you can see the spores. And also the leaf configuration. And you also want to back up and get a shot of the whole specimen. Changing perspective for your photos is also going to help with identification. You can get aerial above shots like this, but if you get down lower to whatever you're photographing, you're going to be able to zoom in and get some better details, which are going to help with identification. When we're making observations for iNaturalist, we want to focus on things that are wild and not planted. So while this is a very beautiful potted plant, this isn't something that I would make an observation for on iNaturalist. However, anything that is living on this plant or around this plant is up for grabs for observation. And if I move this plant over, I notice that there are some insects down below here underneath that are hanging out underneath this plant, and so I could make observations of these for iNaturalist. When you're looking for species, be sure you look at branches and fallen trees that have fallen on the ground. For example, this particular one that I found has some great lichen on it. There's some insects going around it. So you definitely would check out the different surfaces. Other ones that I found today, just in this one spot, fungi, and you can see the underneath there. Underneath the fungi, you can get the different angles of this turkey tail. And then also I found this very cool jelly fungus today, which this branch is covered with. So you never know what you're going to find if you look in the unexpected places. So check logs and bases of trees and branches. When you're making observations, you want to try to keep the sun at your back behind you, or else you're going to get shadows on things. If you adjust yourself so that you get with the sun behind your back, you're going to get a little more clarity on the details and less shadows. When you're making observations of trees, it's important to take several different photos to capture the characteristics. What do the leaves look like? How are they attached to the twigs? Take a look at the overall tree, its shape, and also look at the bark. So you want to take a picture of the bark, because that will help people identify. Also, if there are any sort of seeds, acorns, or leaves or anything. So for example, I found one for this particular tree. This is an American sweet gum tree, and so this particular seed pod is very diagnostic to tell us that that's what this type of tree is. So don't just take one picture. You want to take multiple pictures: trees, bark, branches, overall size. All of this is going to help people with the identification of your tree. When you're taking pictures of mushrooms, you definitely want to get a picture from the top that shows the cap, and it kind of shows the shape of the mushroom. But then you also want to get from the side and also underneath if possible. And one of the ways that it's easy to do that is if you have a small hand mirror, you can put that underneath the mushroom so that you can see whether or not it has spores or gills. And so you can take some pictures that way so that you can figure out what it looks like underneath. And all of these types of pictures, looking at the stem and the cap and what's underneath, are going to help the identification of the mushroom. So a great thing about taking pictures for iNaturalist is you can use multiple devices. I can use my phone to take multiple pictures of something. I can use my camera to take pictures of things. Or I can even use tablets or other devices to take pictures. So you don't need to just do it on your phone. You can take pictures with any of your devices and upload them to iNaturalist later.
So the last tip I have to give you is to have fun. We're just out here collecting information about nature to record the biodiversity in our area and hopefully contribute to science. Thanks.